In a small town nestled between rolling green hills stood St. Martin's High School, a place where students of all backgrounds came together to learn, grow, and chase their dreams. Among them was a quiet boy named Ryan. Ryan wasn't like most of the other students. While they laughed and chatted in the hallways, he stayed silent. While they eagerly answered questions in class, he kept his head down, avoiding eye contact. It wasn't because he didn't want to speak. He did. But every time he tried, his words got stuck. His stuttering made sure of that. Whenever Ryan did try to speak, some of his classmates would mock him. "Hey, Ryan, how's it going?" A boy named Jake teased one afternoon, making his friends laugh. Ryan felt his face burn, but he didn't respond. He just clutched his books tighter and walked away. Despite the bullying, Ryan never let it show how much it hurt. He spent his time buried in books, reading about everything from history to science, literature to philosophy. He had an incredible mind, but very few people knew it. One day, their teacher, Mr. Thompson, made an announcement. "Our school has been selected to participate in the National Knowledge Competition," he said, his voice filled with excitement. "Only 3 students can represent us, so we'll be holding a selection quiz tomorrow." The entire class buzzed with excitement. Everyone wanted to be on the team. It was a prestigious event, and the winners would receive scholarships and national recognition. That night, Ryan sat in his room, staring at the notice about the competition. He knew he had the knowledge to win, but the thought of speaking in front of a crowd terrified him. His mother noticed his hesitation. "Ryan, you should try," she encouraged. "But Mom, what if I mess up? What if I stutter?" Ryan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. His mother smiled gently. "People might judge you for how you speak, but what truly matters is what you have to say." Her words stuck with Ryan. He knew he had to at least try. The next day, the quiz competition began. One by one, students answered rapid-fire questions. Ryan hesitated, but finally stepped forward when his name was called. The room fell silent. "Ryan's actually participating," Jake whispered to his friends, barely hiding his smirk. Ryan took a deep breath. The teacher asked the first question. "What is the capital of Kazakhstan?" For a moment, Ryan's throat tightened, but then he forced himself to focus. "Astana," he answered. His voice shook, but his answer was correct. One by one, the questions kept coming, and one by one, Ryan answered them flawlessly. The more he spoke, the more his confidence grew. By the end of the quiz, Ryan had the highest score in the class. Mr. Thompson smiled proudly. "Congratulations, Ryan. You will be one of our representatives." The class erupted in whispers. Even Jake looked stunned. No one had expected this. Over the next few weeks, Ryan and his teammates prepared for the national competition. While the other 2 students practiced their speaking skills effortlessly, Ryan struggled. His knowledge was undeniable, but speaking in front of an audience was still his biggest fear. One evening, as Ryan was leaving school, he overheard Jake talking to his friends. "I don't know why they picked Ryan," Jake scoffed. "He can't even talk properly. He's going to embarrass our school." Ryan clenched his fists, but said nothing. Deep down, he knew he had to prove Jake wrong. Not for him, but for himself. On the day of the national competition, the auditorium was packed. Cameras flashed, and a large audience watched as teams from different schools took their places. Ryan's heart pounded in his chest. The competition had 2 rounds, a written test and a spoken debate. Ryan's team aced the first round, ranking among the top 3 schools. Then came the debate. Ryan was their final speaker. His task was to deliver the closing argument for his team. As he stood up, he could feel the weight of hundreds of eyes on him. He saw Jake sitting in the crowd, watching. His hands trembled. His throat felt dry. Then he remembered his mother's words. "People might judge you for how you speak, but what truly matters is what you have to say." Taking a deep breath, Ryan looked at the audience. he began to speak. At first, his words came slowly, carefully. His stutter was there, but he didn't let it stop him. He focused on the message, on the passion behind his words. As he continued, something incredible happened. His voice grew stronger. His words, though not always perfect, carried a depth of knowledge and conviction that stunned the audience. By the time he finished, there was complete silence. Then the entire auditorium erupted into applause. Even the judges looked impressed. When the results were announced, Ryan's school had won first place. As he held the trophy, he felt something shift inside him. For the first time, he wasn't ashamed of his voice. He had proven that true intelligence isn't about how fluently you speak, it's about the power of your ideas. As he walked off the stage, Jake approached him. Ryan braced himself for another insult, but instead Jake simply said, "That was incredible." Ryan smiled. For the first time, he felt seen, not as the quiet, stuttering boy, but as the brilliant mind he always had been.